game. Let's check in with Freak, who's hanging out with TSM's mid laner.
Thank you very much, Dominic. Great cast of the day so far. I'm here with Bjergsen. Bjergsen, first of all, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to talk to you about what's been happening with TSM, because I think it's a really interesting situation where expectations were really high, right? You've got all these amazing players, Yellow Star, top 4 at Worlds last year, etc. You're, of course, very good yourself. And then people watch the games, and they're kind of ragging on you guys. It looks a little bit uncoordinated. But at the end of the day, you guys ended the first half of the split 6-3, second place, tied with all these other really good teams. Like, results kind of show you guys are solid. I want to sort of hear your thoughts on how you feel TSM's shaping up.
Obviously, we are improving, but maybe not at the rate that we want to be. We got a lot of help. We actually had Weldon come over and help us, a sports psychologist, about really breaking that mindset of feeling like, oh, we just have to go in and stop this game, because everyone expects us to go in and just stop this game and win this game. We're kind of breaking that and feeling like we have a challenge each game, and it's important that we see it as an even game and a game that we have to fight for win, not a game where we should be expected to win.
So then talk to me about how that came into this game against Team Impulse. They were 3-5 coming into it, but they'd taken some really good wins before. So, what was the summation coming into it?
It was definitely a different game. I've never played against Pyrion in solo queue, at least to my belief, in scrims. So me playing against a player I've never played before is definitely a different experience. And it was more limited research against this team because they've changed out their roster, done a lot of different things. So it was a different match, but that's why we just put focus on ourselves and what we're going to do.
So talk to me about what your focus then was for this game. How did you guys approach it? How did you guys take these opponents down?
Well, we just went in with our game plan. We didn't really know what they were going to play, how they were going to play. So we really focus on, well, just like every other LCS team, I think, really do. They focus on themselves and their improvement and how they want to play the match. Because if you set your game plan, you play to your game plan, you're going to end up winning most of the time. And
of course, you guys did. So talk to me then about tomorrow coming in up against CLG. They're not just another opponent for you guys, of course.
Yeah, definitely not. Everyone was really disappointed when we lost to them in week 1, especially Doublelift. So we have a lot to show, but I think you'll see a good TSM tomorrow.
See a good TSM tomorrow. Then talk to me about the TSM for the rest of the spring split. Final question. You guys gonna hit that number 1? You gonna drop down Immortals? You gonna stay top 2? Where's it gonna be for you guys?
Obviously, the goal is to beat Immortals. They're looking immortal right now. They're looking extremely good. We've been scrimming them. They are a really strong team. So that's just, it's nice having a team that you have to live up to, a team that you have to beat, and that's what we're working towards.
All right, well, Bjergsen, good luck in living up to that number 1 spot. And, of course, we'll see you tomorrow against CLG. Thank you very much. We're going to send it now down to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. Gentlemen, we're 9 games into the season. I feel like it's time now to give a report card for TSM specifically. This is a team that came in with some pretty high expectations. They had some big names signed on to the team. Those expectations are not necessarily panning out exactly as planned. 6-3 record is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
However, the team themselves have been vocal about not being where they want it to be. I was hoping we could kind of hammer out, though, more specifically the big problem areas for this roster now that we're 9 games through the season.
Yeah, and when you look at that 6-3, you sit there and you go, okay, well, they played Liquid as soon as they brought in these new guys. They beat Cloud9 when they were still shuffling their roster around. So that 6-3 is actually going to lie to you a tiny bit there because they got some wins that, maybe they wouldn't get if they had faced those teams today. So when I'm looking at TSM, I'm going, all right, 6-3 record. They look good on paper there. But when you get in the game, you sit there and you go, okay, they're winning in CS. They're winning all of the lanes. They seem to be moving around the map really well. What's the problem?
Right.
And the problem is they're getting caught out. They all individually look good. But the thing is their movements relative to each other are awful. Because what they're doing is they're going to a point where, okay, are you going to back me up? Their teamwork is not there. They're not supporting each other in team fights. They're not supporting each other when they're moving around the map. And you're seeing people die when their ultimates are still up.
So we have multiple examples of that in this game. Here you're going to see a few of them. Again, Yellow Star, not level 6, playing a little bit too far up there, getting picked off before the rest of the team can follow up.
It's all those movements relative to each other where people are getting picked off and they aren't supporting them appropriately.
Right, Bjergsen not getting a Kindred ult here, stunned a little bit too well for him to get his own ultimate off. Again, we'll see this here, though. Sven getting CC'd, no Bjergsen ult comes in. So it went both ways, right? Kindred could have saved Bjergsen one time, Bjergsen could have saved Sven one time. And so, yeah, definitely some miscommunications and missteps here. I saw you jump at the opportunity to diagnose some of the issues of TSM, though, and I want to give you a chance to weigh in on this.
I think they look worse than they are because it is these team settings where you see them failing, but you don't see like the off-camera stuff that they do really well. Their macro game is actually pretty good. They had a really smart level 1 this game where they were able to delay tip put them really far behind in tempo, so they were ahead on every turret trade. And so they do a lot of those things really well that are harder to pick up on. But then when they're in these 5v5 settings, you see these misplays, and it's very easy to be like, oh my God, they look so bad. But they're really actually a little bit better than that.
Yeah, their minion wave control is actually quite good. They have like 80 CS advantages in a lot of their lanes. They're being very dominant on an individual level. It's just when they group up, it just looks like solo queue at that point.
Yeah, it's just still something's not clicking exactly right with the team yet. I mean, back to your point about there are a lot of things that are going well for them. I felt in terms of draft for this game, came out way on top for TSM. I thought it was a very smartly drafted game in recognizing pick potential on the side of Team Impulse and going, all right, we're gonna go Zilean and Kindred, and then we're also gonna have a split push threat in that Fiora. And might I add too, just as a non sequitur, Haunter, perhaps the best performing player on TSM. I mean, we've had some great games on Poppy here, playing quite well. His scoreline definitely supporting the fact that he's showing up perhaps more than people would have expected on this lineup of all-stars.
Yeah, it's a little funny to hear like all these huge names and Haunter's like, I think the perception of him was like, oh, he's pretty good for NA, is like what people think when they bring him in.
Yeah.
And he's actually like consistently one of the best players on the team. So I think it's, good for him.
Good to see him stepping up there.
I do want to jump in on the draft here because I don't know how TIP win this game when I just look at draft. You're going to get split pushed down by the Fiora. You're going to get sieged down by the Corki. The Zilean and the Kindred are both going to buy time. The Zillian's
Your
also going to buy time.
assassins are useless
So
now.
your assassin's useless. And also, even if you siege them 5-on-4, they have better wave clear than you. They're buying time for Fiora. So TIP really, I think they drafted themselves into a corner here and didn't really have a clear win condition. And if they did, it was really, really hard to achieve and pretty much impossible.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those, crappy situations that you find yourself in as a spectator saying, we've seen moments of brilliance from Team Impulse, and we've seen some moments of weakness. And in this situation, though, it just didn't feel like they gave themselves the proper chance to win this game.
Yeah, you pretty much have to rely on catches at that point, which, I mean, TSM do fall into some catches.
Yeah, I mean, Tip has honestly gotten a lot of kills in a lot of their games. They have, like, players who are pretty smart and mechanically skilled at killing people, but like we said, they fell behind a lot in macro. They were up 4-1, I think, down like 2 or 3K at one point, which is just a sign of a team that isn't 100% sure of what they want to do.
Right, they still have some figuring out to do as a young team in the macro sense. TSM, on the other hand, displaying some macro play that is up to par, but then the mechanics and or the communication doesn't support what the team wants to do as a whole. Stick around to see if Immortals can take down Team Dignitas and complete their 9-0 run through the LCS. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Check your room pages, by the way.
By the way.
If you made new ones this week.
Why do you have to say, by the way, 24/7?
Sneaky's going on. There he goes. Finally pulls the spite as Yellowstar leads the charge. Not level 6. He goes down first blood. Mash. Proxen in the lines. Got to dash out. Svenskeren provides chase. He's level 7. Does have the land thrust, but stunned against the wall. True shot barrage. Double kill. Mash.
I cannot go. I cannot go.
Watch out, Proxen.
Oh.
It's okay. Keep fighting, keep fighting. Stun.
Stop.
Nice. He's chunked down to almost no health. Double lift lands the rocket. He's looking for another flash rocket. Double lift shut down.
I want
Yeah,
it.
we can.
Yeah, I want it. I want it.
Let's
I want to go blue.
Yeah,
I'll go top.
One go blue, one go blue.
I'll go blue.
Yeah. Guys, chill.
With Mash still dead, that's a lot of wave clear missing. Pyrian goes down in addition. TSM are going to take the win